Imagine waking up one morning, ready to rob a bank with your family. Sounds like a movie plot, right? But for the cats, it was reality. Just after sunrise on August 9, 2012, in Katy, Texas, Scott Cat, a structural engineer, prepared for a day unlike any other. Scott, his son Hayden, and daughter Abby, all dressed in casual clothes, gathered in their living room, ready for their mission. "Okay, kids," Scott said. "You ready?" They nodded, and the family headed out to Abby's green Volkswagen Jetta. Scott, a towering figure at 6'4", squeezed into the passenger seat, while Hayden crammed into the back. Abby drove them to a strip center parking lot, where they parked near a Comerica bank. Scott pulled out disguises: white painter's coveralls, masks, gloves, and airsoft pistols. The family transformed in the tight confines of the Jetta. At 9:30, they sat in the car, staring at the bank's front door, waiting for the right moment. Finally, Scott's voice crackled through the walkie-talkie to Abby. "You there, Abby? We're going in." Robbing a bank is a crime as old as time, but a family doing it together? That's a different story. The Cats had no financial issues or personal problems. They were just an ordinary family in a family-oriented apartment complex. Scott worked for a Houston energy company, Abby was a sales clerk at Victoria's Secret, and Hayden aspired to be a hotel concierge. Yet, when it came to robbing banks, they were bold, daring, and risky, according to Sheriff Troy Nels. Their first heist at Comerica netted them close to $70,000. 2 months later, they robbed First Community Credit Union for $30,000. But on November 9, 2012, their luck ran out. Detectives arrested them just as they were preparing for a third robbery. News of their arrest went viral, with headlines like, "All in the Family," and "A Family Affair." Reporters tried to uncover why a father and his children would turn to bank robbery, but the Cats remained silent. Eventually, they agreed to plea deals and allowed interviews. Abby, in her prison uniform, expressed deep embarrassment. Hayden, reflecting on their actions, said, "Every night I stare at the ceiling and ask myself, what were we thinking?" Scott, the mastermind, claimed he did it for the family, believing it would bring them closer. Their story began in McMinnville, Oregon, where Scott was born and raised. He married his high school sweetheart, Beth. After Beth's death from breast cancer, Scott's life spiraled. He turned to drinking and eventually, bank robbery. Scott's first heist was a small branch bank in McMinnville, netting $2,500. He continued robbing banks to make ends meet. Despite his secret life, Scott was a devoted father, always putting his children first and supporting their interests. Hayden and Abby never suspected their father's criminal activities. They admired his hard work and dedication. But by 2010, Scott needed more money. He decided to involve his children in his bank robbing schemes. He convinced Hayden first, then Abby, promising them it would be quick and easy. They reluctantly agreed. Their first robbery together was nerve-wracking, but they pulled it off, feeling exhilarated by their success. They spent the money quickly, and soon, Scott and Hayden were planning their next heist, with Abby as the getaway driver. Their second robbery was just as successful, but the stress took its toll on Abby. She wanted out. Detectives eventually caught up with them, tracing their purchases and movements. The Cats were arrested and confessed. Scott received a 24-year sentence, while Hayden and Abby got lighter sentences. Their story is a cautionary tale of misguided loyalty and desperation.